Many of us dungeon masters are homebrewers and world builders. However, the vast majority of your players are never going to read your lore book or your Google Docs or your World Anvil page, no matter how many times you send them the link. So what is a dungeon master to do to get your players and those characters more immersed into your world? We're going to go over 3 things. Number 1, keep it bite-sized. Number 2, tie in the characters' backstories. Number 3, nothing is sacred. Stick around to the end for a bonus tip.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an upload. And join the conversation over at the Agranak Cult Discord.
Number 1, keep it bite-sized. I love Halloween. So many bite-sized little candies. Snickers, 100 grand, Milky Way, and so many more. If I went into a store and there was a 10-pound Snickers bar on the shelf, that would be kind of cool actually, it would be easy to convince myself not to get that because I'm going to sit down and eat the whole thing. I know that it would be bad for me. However, if I buy a 10-pound bag of fun-sized Snickers, I'm probably going to go through the whole thing in a very short period of time, and I have. With that in mind, feed your players fun-sized versions of your lore. If it takes you more than a couple minutes to explain some lore, you're giving them too much. Generally speaking, keep it to about 30 seconds. If the players at the table ask for more, then give them another 30 seconds. It is an art form, and it takes a little while to get used to it. But it's a lot better than going on a long 10-minute diatribe of all this lore. If you give them that much information all at once, they're only going to remember the first and the last sentence, not the tasty little tidbits. Sure, note takers can shine here, but trust me, keep it simple and compelling. Make them want more. As a world builder myself, I get it. I understand. You've spent a ton of time making guilds and factions and pantheons and civilizations that have risen and fallen. There's a lot in there. Even though you personally had a great time world building and writing every little nuance and detail down, your players are probably going to look at you cross-eyed and have drool running down the side of their face if you go on a long diatribe. Again, this is an art form, and you will get better the more that you do it. Number 2, tie in the character backstories. Every character should understand that they were born into this world that you've created. They're not an alien visitor or from an alternate dimension. Those types of adventures will happen at higher levels. We're focused on lower levels here. So the characters know a lot more than the players do. Let them know specifics at certain times as you go along and play. Let them know about products, people, places, and certain events in the right time. Give it to them in fun-sized chunks. I'm a proponent of using professions as character backgrounds like found in Knave 2E, rather than the backgrounds found in games like in modern D&D. If you use professions as your background, then the DM can inform those professions into the world. So maybe the fighter has a profession of being a chandler or candlemaker. If you're starting in a specific town, then maybe have the character's family own the chandler shop. Or at the very least, they were an apprentice there in their youth. The thief could have been the groundskeeper at a local church, and he knows all the little tidbits of many of the townsfolk. Or the ranger was a gong farmer. He knows all the nuances and all the dietary indulgences of many of the people in the town. Yeah, due to the fecal matter smell. Consequently, that's why the ranger wanted to become a ranger so that he wouldn't have to deal with everyone's crap. Literally and figuratively. Perhaps a character is connected to a weapon of fame in your world, or a lost civilization. Thread or tether one or more of these characters to these items in your world, and they're now anchored into it. As well, at the very least, you've baked in a quest right from the get-go. Number 3, nothing is sacred. You've created an awesome world, and it may have taken you days, weeks, months, or even years. Now allow the players, or rather the characters, to change it, break it, mend it, destroy it, or rebuild it, because their actions matter too. Breathe. It's okay, trust me on this. In tabletop role-playing, and many of the mediums that we consume, story is conflict. And, as often is the case, violence and destruction will come of it. It's one of the best mindsets to embrace as you and now your players start shaping the world in story form. But DM Wisdom, I worked so hard on it! Then write a novel instead, but let your players use your world as their playground. The more you do this, the more connected your players are going to feel to your world. I know, you may not be an artist, a painter, or a sculptor, but you have artistically shaped and fashioned this world. Allow it to change and be fashioned by the characters and their decisions or indecisions. Bonus tip, make the stakes personal. World-ending BBEGs are fine, but personal stakes hit much harder. Maybe a villain's plan will affect the character's family or their hometown. Is one of the character's long-lost best friend now a villain, or maybe even the BBEG? Another thing to lean into is ask the players what their characters fear, maybe at the beginning of a campaign, and then at some point lean into that. What did I get wrong? What did I miss? Do you have more tips? Leave it in the comments below. All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Agranak Studios today, and we'll see you on the next one. Later. This video was brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron so you can help us make more content like this. Or get yourself a t-shirt below. Later.
Alright, do this, and do that, and do this, and do that. And watch this video.